back again. Hello and welcome to the Digital Fashion Innovator series. I hope you guys all had a good week. And yeah, we are back again. So, as usual, my introduction. My name is MASJIEN. For everyone who's joining, new to this session, I'm the CEO and founder of World of Mesh. And yeah, I'm your host for this session. And this new era of digital fashion is just bringing together all these amazing talents from all around the globe. And we're always here to celebrate you guys on your journey, to share your stories, to inspire new creators coming in, which will be our focus today, but also generally the fashion industry at large. And yeah, just a little note, all our guests are speaking on behalf of themselves, not for the companies they work at. And for everyone listening, if you have any questions, feel free to add them in the comments because we can bring them in. And it's always great to hear your feedback, any questions or thoughts that are on your mind. It's always very, very welcome. So, yes, and I would love to welcome our guest for today. I'm Claes, is co-founder of MASJIEN. She's also Changemaker of the year 2025. And yeah, her big topic is Techno-Optimism, and how we can challenge the future of fashion through that. So welcome very much. Nice to have you
Yeah,
on.
thank you, Marie, and hello to everybody. I don't know where you're watching from. I'm based in Antwerp, so dialing in here from Belgium, and yeah, very happy to be part of this series. I've been following them already quite for a while now. So yeah, happy to share some of my own insights and experiences with all of you.
And we're so glad to have you on because this is always a chance also to meet the people behind these projects, which is, yeah, why we're really excited to get to know you and to hear a little bit about your backstory. Maybe just a few words. You've been in the industry for like 25 plus years, having a massive, deep experience in a lot of different fields, but you've always been questioning also how technology and innovation are used and what it really takes to unlock the value and creativity, and especially sustainable systems. So we're going to go a little deep into your background, how you founded your agency at the intersection of fashion, sustainability, and technology, and also how very involved you are in building programs and ecosystems for bringing also people together. Yeah, so I love to hand it right over to you to get started. Maybe we can start with a question: what techno optimism is for you, and then you can dive right into your journey because that's the very interesting point.
Because indeed, very often everybody has like a title, and mine very often is co-founder, of course. But I also try to find another word which represents what I actually do or where I stand for. And I think techno-optimism is it's not a term that I invented myself, to be clear, but it clearly states that I really believe in the positive impact technology is able to bring. Of course, we are all aware that technology also brings a lot of challenges and even dark sides to it. But
Yeah.
I deliberately choose to always look at the positive side of things, and then more specifically on how technology can accelerate sustainability, circularity, so create a positive impact on our fashion sector. And then secondly, how it can push us and enables more creativity, because in the end, that's why we are all, I think, part of this fashion sector. Because as you already mentioned, I'm working already all my career in fashion in very different roles. But I've always been part of this sector because yeah, I think like many people, we start from certain passion. We see the beauty, the dream fashion can bring. But I've always worked on the business side, development, sales. I've been working for the Belgian Fashion Council for 10 years. So yeah, guiding, mentoring a lot of new fashion designers, brands, etc., in different ways. And it's there where we also focused on future proof entrepreneurship, where I actually discovered more and more on the impact or possible impact of technology. Because in the very beginning, we were focusing a lot on sustainability. So I speak now about 10 years ago, I think. So when it was still very early days, that everybody was getting involved, of having more interest on sustainability. Yeah, and then automatically innovation and technology came along. And it's specifically that part that excites me the most. And actually, my former colleague at the Fashion Council is Jasmin Wijnands. She left the council already, Flanders Fashion Institute, a little bit earlier than me. I left there 2.5 years ago, and then we launched our agency, which is called Machine. It is written the Antwerp way. But yeah, we like to push things forward, create change indeed, on fashion sustainability and technology. And she is the expert in sustainability, while I push more innovation and technology. So, of course, we collaborate a lot. We learn a lot from each other, and what are the opportunities and the goals of our agency. But these are like the main focus points.
Very nice. So, I mean, sustainability was like the beginning focus you had that probably guided MASJIEN when you founded it. And so then it shifted over while technology always played a bigger and bigger role. And I think those two fields go so well hand in hand. Um, People like when I'm at events or fairs, it's very often that I encounter just sustainability fashion events or just technology fashion events. I think I mentioned this before in a session. And these two worlds, they're coming together slowly, and I feel like they're still very often very separate, but they can benefit from each other in so many different ways. So I love that you guys bring that actually together in one agency, because that's, I think, the way we need to go forward, right?
Yeah, and I think it's rather difficult also to put them at the same level, because I don't think they sit in the same place. While sustainability is might be a goal, technology is a tool. So
Not
it
true.
is different how you look at things. And I definitely always add strategy to the mix, because in the end, when you're setting up or developing projects or setting up a new company, or define which business you want to work on specifically in the fashion area, strategy is always number one. As your company strategy, or what you want to achieve, sustainability strategy is very often a part of it. And then technology is this tool to achieve this strategy, or to achieve this sustainability goals. So it sits rather different, I would say, in this mix, but it definitely can accelerate this very properly.
Yeah, that makes totally sense what you say. It is. The one thing is a tool you use, the other thing is a goal. Yeah, but being so deep into fashion technology, I just see how interconnected they are in so many levels. But it's a very good point. Maybe that's why these events are still quite separate at the end of the day.
Yeah. Mm.
And I think also it's probably also expertise field, right? If you want to focus on digital fashion, it's just such a huge world and so many things you can focus on. If you
Mhm.
focus on sustainability and more planet-focused approaches in the physical world,
Mhm.
there's so many rabbit holes you can go down and really get in detail on. So yeah, it's like I
Absolutely.
said, really nice that you guys
Absolutely.
are bringing it together on that
Yeah.
level.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we sit in this more generalistic way, because I think one of the main reasons that we have created this agency, and most of the projects we work on, is to actually build bridges between these different worlds, because we understand the two sides. Have I've been working in the sector for so many years, so I know how they think. I know how they act. I know how the company is built. What are the needs? What are the challenges, etc. And then building these bridges with technology, with innovation, with the different sustainability goals, challenges, etc. That's where where we focus on mostly with machine. And then specifically, we are, yeah, as you said, we were very proud to win this Changemaker Award, because in the end, it's a word that describes quite, thank you, quite well what we want to achieve. Because
Yeah.
we are very rare. I mean, you see it in this series as well. Things are popping up every day. There are novelties, new challenges, new opportunities. But real change also needs understanding, it needs time, it needs
Consistency.
consistency, absolutely, and also the openness to change. And there the optimism comes back in because I think, yeah, sharing my optimism for what technology can bring. Is it the solution to everything? Definitely not.
But it
Um,
does help.
absolutely, absolutely. And I think my main angle is there, like show what is out there, what can be inspirational, and then go back to your own strategy. How can I implement these kind of things at best? Maybe even strategically stack different solutions. Yeah, this is usually how I build my projects and my ecosystems indeed to connect people to create change and impact.
So good. And just a story for everyone out there listening. Anne and I have met each other in person the first time not too long ago. I think it was like less than a year ago in Amsterdam. Yeah, so I experienced my first holographic fashion show, and Anne was so kind to, yeah, tell me about it, have me join, invite me over, and it was a show that had such an epic impact the first times it popped up. I remember it was like a year before, and it's basically you can imagine a normal fashion show with a catwalk, but with holographic digital fashion pieces and avatars on stage. And it was a wonderful experience. So thank you so much for having me over. And yeah, the whole team that was organizing it behind it, maybe you can do a shout out to them. They did such a great job of bringing the community together and the people together, and especially the young talents, and giving them a platform.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a fantastic concept, and we already had a few different editions. So we had a few editions. So it's called Future Front Row. It's a holographic fashion show concept. And we had different editions where we were like mainly showcasing the work of more professional creators that each developed a small sequence specifically for the show. And then indeed in Amsterdam, it was the same format, but with different creators. They were just students who had actually just learned how to develop their designs in 3D, bring them into this digital showcase using their garments on an avatar and having this showcase moment. So yeah, always happy to be involved in Future Front Row, and hope we can do many more. We had, for example, one time also an edition in here in Antwerp where I had even like 16 shows in 2 days, and I think this is a very good example on how technology can create a positive impact, can make it very inclusive. Also,
Yes.
the ecological footprint of a fashion show of 15 minutes live, or I did it 16 times over again just by pushing the same button 16 times. So it had a completely different yeah, impact and experience. And that's what technology can bring. Besides, of course, the amazing experience and the novelty that a holographic fashion shows today still is. Absolutely. And it's
Yes.
an amazing platform for the talent, because
It
digital fashion very often is seen on small screens, on your computer, on your iPhone, etc. And having it, yeah, in real life, showcasing also gives it the visibility and the credibility it deserves, I believe.
Yes, and that's still such a new approach, such an innovative approach of how to display fashion
Mhm.
collections.
Yeah.
I'm still in awe when I think about it. But it's like you just mentioned, it's really interesting because digital fashion shows that purely happen in a digital world, they've been on the rise. A few years ago, we saw them pop up everywhere, and those are great brand experiences. But this one piece of human connection sometimes gets lost along the way. And what I love about the Future Front Row was that it's still a digital display, so it could allow people to tune in from all over the world. We don't have to have, like, if you think of fashion shows, all the people traveling all over the place, all the fabric, the garments and the outfits that have to be transported. The work that goes into fashion shows is insane. Whoever worked
Mhm.
behind the scenes and helped out or was involved knows this.
Yeah.
It's really like madness, and then everyone's just exhilarated and excited everything went well. So taking this laying this making it so much more accessible for people, more
Mhm.
easy, more sustainable because you don't have all these
Yeah.
travels, but still having this human interaction at the show where you can meet with a community, you can network with people. I think that's like it's been a sweet spot for me. So
Absolutely. And of course, the holographic fashion show is like the best you can have experience wise. But for example, last year in Berlin, during Berlin Fashion Week, I also hosted the very first official side event showcasing digital fashion. So together with Asaf Reep, it's called Motor. And then we showcased 11 different fashion creators, their work. But it was actually kind of funny because a lot of people just push the button like I want to attend because they see the word show and they came to the showcase, which was actually a very nice, beautiful showroom with a very big screen, so we could showcase the work very nicely. But people arrived quite early, they arrived on time, they came to, yeah, to prepare for a real fashion show. And then the screen was on and everything, like the work was just passing by, and then suddenly we were hearing people say like, at what time does the show really start? And then we only realized that they are not aware of, yeah, of what was actually happening.
yeah.
So at that moment we actually stopped the presentation and started explaining what is digital fashion about, what were we showcasing. Um, and it's only at that moment that people were really understanding the kind of events that they were attending and having this human connection and having this short explanation, talking to them also afterwards, talking to the creators who were also in the room. I think it definitely, yeah, created a lot of new fans and a new understanding for what digital fashion can bring.
No, I can imagine. I can imagine. That's a classic. When you're in your tech bubble or in your niche, things are so aware to you, but it really isn't to everyone. This is like such a small community that focuses on this topic, which I love because you can get in contact with people real easily. So anyone listening, feel free
Yeah.
to network with the people in the call as well, because this is a great opportunity. Um, yeah, but it's
But it's
really
also nice, as you said, to go out of this bubble. Like I deliberately chose Berlin Fashion Week to host this event, and in the end, we had 380 people who attended the showcasing because they are part of this fashion week. So, yeah, building bridges and as we talked about, the importance of these ecosystems and networking. I think it's, yeah, it's really important in everything what we do. So yeah, find the right spots where there's also people that are not involved yet or not convinced yet is definitely a good challenge for everybody, I would say.
definitely. Yeah, but these are maybe also these aha moments when people maybe don't directly understand what it is, but then they go like, "Oh, okay, this is digital fashion." Maybe that's also a good effect to get people's attention and focus on this topic. Um,
Absolutely.
but I do have a question that just came to me while we were having our conversation because, I mean, with AI rolling in and taking also such a big space in image creation and video creation, um, I was wondering, because as a 3D artist, someone who really creates stuff, I know how much work can go into a digital fashion show that's made in 3D. So you have to create the environment, you create the garments, the avatars, the movements, the so-called rigging of the avatar, and all these details that go together. It's massively a lot of work. What does that mean in a time where AI is rolling in and creating maybe images that happen a lot effortless? Maybe not having the full creative control you could have at that point, but it's getting quite close. How is that affecting this whole digital fashion industry? I mean, yeah, there's a lot of events and things coming up with AI fashion as well. But I'd love to hear your thought on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think because I'm part of this 3D digital fashion world now for since 2021. I think I co-founded actually a digital fashion network called Mutiny with Shaylee Harrison back at the time.
Oh yeah, we had her on, I remember. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and at that time, I think it was rather new and exciting to have digital fashion as a new form of enjoying fashion and expressing fashion in different ways. And of course, you had different platforms, and we were selling them as NFTs and social worlds, etc. So it was a different timing. While I think, bridging again to more mainstream platforms where there is more people, where it's easier to be involved, etc. It is not always that easy to actually showcase and use the developments at best, or maybe the developments are not always necessary to showcase in a rather simple way. If you want to develop a holographic fashion show, you need to have them in 3D. It's different than if you actually develop them in a more flat 2D expression, like you can watch the most fantastic visual representation, which is not a picture, but if it's developed in 3D or it's developed with AI or whatever. Again, I think I always think of these different type of technologies. It's like the brush you are working with. Is it AI? Is it 3D fashion? Is it photography? Whatever. And some artists are better with one brush than the other, but sometimes it's also what is the end effect and when is it better. For example, now at this moment, I'm developing a new project for an innovation festival with a smart mirror, for example. It used to be very important to have like the best AR implementation so we can actually. Oh, am I blocked? Only the video?
No, I'm good.
And you're oh, sorry. So to have this AR implementations, then you needed to have these 3D files, etc. While now I'm talking to a new partner who says, like, yeah, it's much easier to actually detect what you're wearing and swapping it with AI, which
Mhm.
means you do not have to use these big buffer codes anymore because everybody was thinking they were so cool, but in the end, it was because you needed to hide what was underneath.
That's true.
Uh, Now you can actually swap it, and AI is actually making the backgrounds
Yeah,
match. So it's a completely different implementation, a different technology, and so a different brush. And I think in the end, we have to admit developing completely in 3D costs a lot of time, a lot of skills.
it does.
Um, and therefore is also quite costly in development. And then again, if it's for a one-time visualization, maybe it's not worth it. But I'm also still convinced that for many implementations, it is still beneficial. Starting from the design phase already and implementing 3D there, it's a completely different story than
Yeah.
just using 3D for an end visualization, I would say, or a visual campaign. So
Yeah.
maybe looping back to what I said in the beginning, strategy is always the first thing. What is the strategy? What is your goal? What do you want to achieve? And then use the right brush.
Exactly.
Um, and maybe you don't need to learn everything anymore.
Mhm.
Because I think people do underestimate what real digital fashion at a high level really requires. And it also needs to require the knowledge of pattern making, for example, of how material is falling and the touch of things. And it's not purely programming, absolutely not. And I
Mhm.
think not a lot of people, are really aware of the challenges behind it. Yeah.
Yeah, especially the physical properties, the draping, the gravity you apply when you want a fabric to have that specific look and feel that the actual physical fabric has. It's a totally
Yeah,
different story than other even 3D fields if you're talking about hard surface
absolutely.
modeling.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, but it's like you said, there's so many different use cases. I'm fully on board with you. If you just need a visual, maybe AI is probably easier to create something quick if you don't have like deep skill set, if you don't have the time to dive into it, a process. If you're a startup and you just need some visuals to get started.
Mhm,
But like you said, if you implement it in a design and the creation phase from the very beginning, and you have this single source of truth that goes through the different steps
mhm,
from
mhm.
development all the way to the consumer, there's so many values that you can get out of this, having control of your patterns, saving samples, virtual fittings. But that's such an underlying product development benefit that you see there.
Mhm.
Um, and I agree. It really depends on the use case. It goes back to strategy. What do you
Yeah,
want to achieve?
and I think people don't always, because they're very used to things also, like, "Oh, man, I look at this and it should work like that," and people get, yeah, very
Mhm.
used to things, and they want, or they find it logic that it works. It's the same like virtual try-on, for example, is different than the smart mirror that I was just talking about. Like, is sizing involved? Again, complete different
Yeah.
use case. But for the viewer or the customer who is completely not involved in the tech process, or for them it's the same. It's a screen with a garment on it, and of course I want to know if it fits well. But if you actually need to have that part working as well, it's completely different flow. So yeah, that I find very often interesting also, to, yeah, understanding very well that, to be clear, I'm not technical at all myself. I can not do what you do. So
Well, you do a
but
lot of things that I can't do either. Everyone has their skills.
I do understand it, and therefore I can translate it and see the opportunities and the gaps. And but sometimes it's challenging, because it's yeah, people expect, when I work, for example, as a content curator, also for technology festivals or for exhibitions. Um, yeah, it's everything looks so easy, but it definitely is is not always the case.
Really isn't.
Yeah.
So for anyone out there, if you see a digital fashion project, ask the people if they created it in 3D. It's worth admiration because it's really a lot of work. And
Yeah.
but I love that you brought it up. Everyone has their skills they bring to the table, and the whole question is how do we come together and yeah, support each other's in the gaps. You don't have to know everything. And I'm
No.
also a big advocate of diving into topics and just learning what you need to know from that. I mean,
Mhm.
Photoshop, the tool, traditional tool that probably most of our viewers know, is a good example. Photoshop is a whole universe of
Mhm.
its own. And very often you have your work that you do if you're a photographer or an illustrator or whatever, and you just have these certain skills that you use in this tool, and that's enough. You don't need to know about the rest. So
I think, and it's quite similar to traditional fashion, but I think the most important, even three elements, I would say, is craftsmanship, like what you
yeah,
do. Try to do it at a certain level, at best. It's critical thinking. It's
mhm,
like, why am I doing this? How am I approaching to it? What's the reasoning behind it, etc. And the
yeah,
third, and something you cannot learn, I think, is taste, and it's
oh,
something you can get cultural background and references and inspiration, etc. But it's also something that, and to be honest, that's something that excites me a lot, but also sometimes I'm a little bit disappointed, to be honest. Digital fashion for a very long time had this Star Wars visual
look
looks,
and feel. Mhm.
and it's such a pity because you can do whatever you want with it. So yeah, in the beginning, I think in the very early days, it needed to look futuristic.
Mm.
while it's, yeah, you can do whatever you want with it, then also use it in these kind of ways. And that's something that I see moving more and more in a very positive way, because I think it's also important that people who actually um, breed, worked, studied, whatever, are active in fashion with this background, with this knowledge, with this artistic view, that they are using now these new brushes and using technology in different ways that that a person with a tech background might not even have thought of, you know. And then seeing these skills coming together, or people collaborating with these different kind of skills, is yeah, it's what excites me. And also I see this visual language also moving more and more in the right direction, I would say. Yeah.
It is. Especially when different fields intersect with someone who's not from fashion, from architecture or automotive design come together in teams. I find that like the most creative explosion that you can ask for because there's totally new perspectives coming in.
Yeah.
I love that you brought that up.
There's actually another project, is also one of my favorite, is I work for MOMU, the fashion museum here in Antwerp, and I organize a hackathon every year. So there will be another one again in November. So keep an eye on my LinkedIn if you want to be part of it. And there we are bringing different people with different backgrounds, like yeah, real developers, 3D developers, but even like website developers, or we had a VR designer. We have people also working in the museum area. You have people who are just making patterns. And then we create little groups of people with different skills. And so in a hackathon, in 48 hours, they develop their own idea, the prototyping, and it's amazing what comes out of it. So bringing these little ecosystems together and see what comes out of it is it's very exciting to see. Specifically also because since last edition, I managed to also get some fantastic prizes for the best and most creative projects out there. So it's yeah, it's quite
Worth it, guys.
quite
And tune in.
experience. Yes, absolutely. Oh, I recommend Antwerp for that. Yeah.
I love how you bring that example in. That really proves the point that when, yeah, different areas merge together, really the coolest projects
Mhm.
evolve. And I just wanted to highlight again the point you just brought up, just to circle back, how important taste is in this whole process is something that isn't talked about that much in digital fashion. At least I haven't come across that topic very much when you're talking like of digital processes and tools and the taste for per se is such an important topic, I think, also for AI.
Mhm.
Um, it's just thought of that just to circle back because you can create all kinds of stuff, but if you're not someone who has a sense for aesthetics, for concepts, for collection overviews and stories
Mhm.
and materials and structures, you can really create a lot of visuals, but they won't have that same cohesive story, and it will be really hard to express probably your own world in your project. And I think that really comes. You can really tell when someone is in digital fashion and has the sense as well. It doesn't always come together because, of course, everyone has their own skill sets. But when they're also, from a concept point, very strong, yeah, it's beautiful to see tech and creative come together because they're very different worlds.
Yeah, and I think maybe it's also I'm shaped with my own background, working here in Belgium and Antwerp. We are known in Belgium also to have very specific DNAs that are translated not only in the product but also in the way we do fashion shows and the way we communicate about the clothing and everything related to it. Um, and there's a lot of independent designers also in Belgium that actually are like Dries van Noten, for example, is I think one of the biggest examples, who is not independent anymore, but for a long time.
Yeah.
And so this importance of having this creative vision and develop, yeah, your own DNA Instead of, I studied, for example, Marangoni in Milan, and I remember that some of the more design students, they get like assignments like, today you are working for Gucci, design a collection for Gucci. Tomorrow you're working for Armani, design a collection for that. Well, if you look at schools here in Belgium, it's focused more on how to develop your own artistic view, how to
Yeah.
develop your own
Find your own look and
signature, I
feel.
would say. Yeah. And which does not mean that it always needs to be the same, but at least how to build a narrative, how to, yeah, create your own world is something that is, I think, also becoming more and more important,
Mm.
specifically between all the AI slop that we are already seeing.
Yeah.
Creating a difference, creating something authentic, new, creative,
Stand out. Mm.
beautiful. Yeah. And beautiful and taste is very subjective. Huh? For everybody, it's different. But at least if it's consistent and if it's authentic and done with craftsmanship, I think there's always an audience or yeah, public for every taste, I would say. But yeah, again, coming back to craftsmanship, taste, and the skill set is definitely going to help you much further today, I think, as a designer.
That's really nicely summarized. So there's a lot of goodies, I think, a lot of creatives coming into the scene, maybe starting out in their careers, or just thinking about getting started for studying,
Mhm.
that are listening that probably took a lot of nuggets and a lot of goodies from this conversation. So the hackathon and move out wasn't the only project that you do, and the Future Front Row support that you yeah, helping the team that actually built that event. You have a lot of other events on the rise and programs that might be also interesting for our younger generations coming in right now. Do you want to maybe share a little bit about the project, the math
Yes.
project?
Yeah, just to be clear, I'm working on a lot of different projects. Also, if you're based in Berlin or you are there for Berlin Fashion Week, very welcome at Metamorphosis, which is like a
Mhm.
talk program I host for Fashion Council Germany. But yeah, we definitely also want to touch a little bit on PXL Math, which is again a school here in Belgium, in Hasselt, that is actually launching a new postgraduate starting from this fall already. So you can already subscribe at this moment. We already had the first ones coming in.
Yeah, I can
And
share it on the screen to
yes,
so
yes, with pleasure. So people can have a better look. So indeed, PXL is the name of the school, and I'm at School of Arts. So I think that's already important. It is an art school, so they have a lot of technology, different, also music, visualization, etc. But they're launching now this, so it's a 1 year postgraduate, specifically for this, yeah, technology futures in fashion that is developing as we speak. um, so the whole concept of this postgraduate is like we were just talking about it, like the importance of developing your own voice, but also choosing the right brush, like what kind of technologies are out there, which, yeah, fit me best, which are the best tools that I need to develop my project, to develop my artistic point of view, or maybe my skill. So the concept is indeed to teach people this critical thinking, this development of an artistic view, and then afterwards you can choose how you're going to implement it. Yeah, the teaching team is still under construction, but as you can see, Flora Miranda is also the coordinator of the brand. Taskin Goch was also, I think, previously here in the series, or not yet? I don't
not
remember.
yet, but maybe we should get in touch. Shout
Yeah,
out.
ask him. He's an amazing creator. And to be honest, I almost, at a certain moment, we said, like, oh, if we can create an education that is that is delivering more Tashkins, then that would be the goal. I mean, he is this one of these perfect examples uh, where meeting a very clear artistic direction and view together with all the newest technological skills out there, is a very good example. But the whole idea of this education is indeed that you can taste from the different technologies, but that you also learn how to think critically. Um, as always, fashion is a reflection of society. So, what's happening around us? Culture is definitely an important angle, but also inclusivity, reflection on sustainability, how to work within society today. And then later in the year, of course, to translate it into your own projects. Because in the end, after postgraduate, we really want to send you out with a nice portfolio, with a project that you have realized. So also that you are able to present yourself in a very good way, how to build your own network, to find your own way in the professional area. I think that's also what a postgraduate should be about. Um, and then, of course, we end with a nice public presentation where your achievements can find their way towards an audience. And then, depending on what your future plans are, if you want to find maybe a role inside a company, an agency, whatever, or maybe start your own agency or become an independent collaborator. That's something that you can, of course, define yourself, also maybe with the help of the tutors throughout this postgraduate. And just to make it very clear, because there is an admission procedure, so people need to send in the CV, a small portfolio of the work they have been doing, and a motivation. But it's not necessary to have already a diploma, because I think today, specifically in digital fashion and technology, we are all learning so much online. There are people that are skilled fantastically by doing a lot of self work, involvement,
Self-taught.
etc. And they did not spend maybe a lot of years in some kind of academy or other school that gave them a certain diploma. So we also really want to be open, and I think this is also a very contemporary way of looking at how education should be and become, because specifically in this field, um, we really want to focus on bringing these people together, with, of course, this very interesting group of people that will come also for workshops and guest classes, etc. But at the same time, yeah, keep on working on their own portfolio and using their skills at best. So yeah, very excited to see this come alive, and yeah, definitely have a closer look at it. We will share the link, maybe also in the comments or afterwards, so you can
Yeah, sure.
have a
I
closer
mean,
look. And if there are questions, please reach out and let me know. But yeah, very exciting because it's rather new. Of course, there are already a lot of schools that offer, for example, digital fashion education, etc. But here we really want to focus also on developing your own artistic view, developing your own design practice. And then sitting in this school of arts, I think is a perfect surrounding in Belgium, with all the fashion talents out there, and this yeah, maybe a little bit atypical thinking on yeah, what fashion education could be. So yeah, very
yeah.
excited to see it come alive. Yeah.
I mean, the whole idea is I'm always glad to share links to platforms where young creatives get the support they need, where they can grow their skills. So I think it's great that you guys are setting this up. So I'm always happy to bring it on. There's no payment, guys. This is not advertising. This is pure excitement for opportunities for young people coming in, and for people like Anne who support and educate people as well. I think we can't have enough of that. So thank
Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
guys.
For me, it's the same. It's just, yeah, I helped building a little bit the program together with a small team, of course, and yeah, happy to see it come alive. And if you're on board, I teach 6 hours with the second module and one in the last. So you won't see me every day. That's for sure. That's not my
Very
problem.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're coming towards the end. So we can slowly think about wrapping this session up. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to add them in the comments. I'm not sure if the question section is working right now. If there are any we missed, we can get back to them in the comment section on LinkedIn, just so you know. So feel free to post them. So yeah, I mean, that was the whole backstory and a few of the initiatives that you're supporting. What I would love to ask, like, to slowly wrap things up is why why is engaging with the next generation of digital creators such a priority for you? Like, what's the background behind that? And yeah, what's your top advice for postgraduates entering the space besides programs like this?
Yeah. I think in the end, how you allee, experience is only, yeah, what's its words? I mean, I'm 48, so a lot of experience. I'm happy to bring that on board and share it. But I think there is so much knowledge and so much enthusiasm also with younger generations. And I think that, yeah, being digital natives, growing up with technology already around them, etc. I always, when I do presentations, etc., I always do like a shout out, like listen to your younger colleagues, give your young employees the opportunities to share their ideas, to involve them.
Mhm.
Too often, it's like strategic decisions are made with boards, with people above 60, and that's sometimes, I think, coming back to change management. If people do not understand, they cannot create change. And if then the people who have the power to do the change are not related enough or not in connection enough with these younger generations that do get it and do see this change, then change is not happening as fast or as it could be. So I think creating these connections and showcasing the possibilities and empowering also younger people on the different stages, for example, that I host, or yeah, to support them with the network, with the platforms that I try to build. Yeah, I think that's maybe my way of pushing things in the right direction. And also, I think that, yeah, our system, although that everybody is like, oh, what is the new color of the season? Our system, the fashion industry is extremely slow. Is extreme. Allez, we're doing things already the same way for decades, except fast fashion is the only innovation that really changed, I would say. So
Yes.
it's, yeah, we need change and we need change faster. And I think young people can definitely help,
Mm.
yeah, with new ideas and new visions and new energy also to bring aboard. So I think that's the main reason. And then secondly, I have two kids myself, and I think they're also, yeah, a huge inspiration to see, like, yeah, what appeals to them, what do they find interesting, relevant. Yeah, for
So
example,
surprising sometimes, right?
yeah, absolutely. So at a certain moment, my son is a lot into gaming, and then I learned a lot from that. My daughter is absolutely the best in curating pre-loved and does not want anything that is not unique or and I mean everything that you see, like the rise of resale, for example, and all the technology that is enabling that right now, and it's, I mean, these are the biggest shifts. It's that is what companies should worry about. And yeah, sometimes I think that's everybody's like doing the same things for too long and just want to adapt it a little bit, but we also need to rethink, yeah, the sector in a complete different way. I think so. Yeah, I like to push a little bit left and right to start the thinking process. As you said, I don't have the answers. Nobody has all the answers, but by connecting people and specifically younger generations to the ones that actually make the decisions, I would say.
Maker, stakeholders, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, this is something that really excites me a lot. Yeah.
So everyone out there who's been in the fashion industry for a longer time, maybe that's also a call to action for everyone who's maybe in a lead position to have a look in your teams, to really dive into the stories, take maybe 10 minutes to take a walk around the headquarter wherever you are and just ask them like, hey, do you guys what are you guys hearing and seeing out there? Are there any opportunities? Anything
Mhm.
that excites you? You'll be surprised how much creativity and how much ideas are in the people. So I love that you brought that up
Yeah,
right now.
absolutely.
Very
No, and
cool.
then lastly, maybe I just quickly want to mention
Yep.
another small project that I'm working on.
Just gonna ask if there's anything.
Yeah, if ever there are people, because I always, as you said, I like to build this ecosystem and build bridges. So I also want to build bridges from the tech companies towards fashion, because to create change, we also need to make sure that people understand each other and use the right wording or implement the
Yes.
solutions in the right way. So I will be launching also this year actually a technology sprint specifically for technology companies that want to implement their solutions in the fashion sector. How to do that better, how to speak the same language,
The
how
visual
to
language.
understand the ecosystem
Yeah.
and build bridges, because I've seen too many ugly decks already in my life, and I think
Full of
that's
numbers and no images.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's I mean, we had this conversation also before our session when we prepared. To anyone out there, if you're presenting to a design team or a tech team or a leadership team, those are like worlds between. It can be the same topic, but it's going to look very different. That's something you learn when you're really working with these different teams involved in companies. Yeah.
Absolutely. And a good example is, for example, digital product passports. I do applied research on that, and it's a topic that touches a lot of different departments in companies. And of course, the conversation is different when you talk to the design team, the communication team, the sustainability manager, legal, finance, top
They're
management.
all involved.
They're all involved, but they all speak different languages, or you need
Yeah.
to appeal differently to their own situation and challenges, etc. So, yeah, that's one of the angles that I want to tackle next. Absolutely. Mhm.
I can't agree more. So much needed. Someone who builds bridges, helps communicating between those different parties is exactly what our industry needs. So,
Thank you.
yeah. Um, if you have anything to add, this would be the chance. Otherwise,
No, I think it's always difficult to explain what do I do. If
yes,
somebody asks my partner, he said like I cannot. So that's why I chose Techno-Optimist as my
yeah,
official title. And I want to invite all of you to become a techno optimist, to share. I mean, you are part of this series because you are interested already for innovation, for what digital can bring. And yeah, I can only encourage you to share your optimism with everybody around you, and let's create change together. So thank you for having me, and
I couldn't say it better. What a beautiful ending for this session. So, thank you so much, so much for coming. It's been a pleasure to speak to you, to learn about your background, all the initiatives that you're doing, because there are a lot out there that you're involved in. So, thank you also from the industry for shaking things up and pushing for change. It's been a pleasure. And yeah, thank you so much. Maybe we'll have you back sometime to have a follow up to see how things are moving.
fantastic. Thank you, Marie, and bye bye to everybody.
All right. Bye, everybody.